Welcome to Snooze Worthy, a podcast by Parenting Practice of Colorado, your window into the world of pediatric sleep, where we explore the science behind sweet dreams, effective sleep teaching techniques, and all the intriguing nuances of your child's slumber. I'm your host, Lindsay Birchfield.
And I'm Paige Legault. Together, we're here to guide you through the labyrinth of parenting, offering insights, strategies, and science-backed advice to make parenting during those early childhood years not just manageable, but truly memorable.
As pediatric sleep specialists, we've seen the transformational power of sleep in countless families.
And because parenting is a journey, we won't stop at sleep. We'll provide you with valuable parenting tips for every aspect of early childhood, from managing tantrums to fostering creativity and hitting those all-important milestones.
So whether you're a seasoned parent in need of a sleep overhaul or a new parent preparing for the joys and challenges of early childhood, Snooze Worthy is your trusted resource. Join us as we unravel the science of sleep, share practical advice, and make parenting truly snooze-worthy.
Welcome back to Snooze Worthy. I'm Paige Legault, and today I'm here with my co-host, Lindsay Birchfield, and today we're diving into one of our favorite topics, which is the bedtime routine. We both love a bedtime routine.
Yeah, that's right, Paige. And having a consistent bedtime routine is super crucial for setting your child up for a good night's sleep. And to help you specifically with the bedtime routine, we've actually created one of our favorite guides. We have a lot of guides, but I think this is our favorite guide, which is called our Bedtime Builder Guide. And it is packed with so many helpful tips and tricks and strategies. And the Bedtime Builder will help support your child at any age. This is a great guide because it literally goes from birth up to that 12 years of age that we work with. And it will help signal your body, bedtime routines will, to help signal your body that sleep is on the way. And one of the things we do say about our sleep routines is that they should last 20 to 30 minutes in length per child. So if you have multiple children, you can combine the routine. That's what I do with my two kiddos. Everything is combined to keep things moving smoothly if it works for your kid's schedule. If not, then you can do them separate, or you can do a portion of the routine together and then split off. But ultimately, the bedtime routine should meet all of your little ones' needs to help them drift off to sleep and ready and comfortable. And we have essentially 7 categories that we like to cover to support a restful night's sleep. And those particular things are environment, timing of the routine, water, movement, which is kind of interesting, reconnection, and then finally tucking them in.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to break down each one of those categories and walk you through all the key points so that way you can learn more about building the perfect bedtime routine for your little one. So to start, let's talk about the importance of a sleep-friendly environment. I think I love 2 of these categories, but this one might be the top. I talk a lot about environment, but we've all heard the most common tips, such as keeping the room cool, dark, quiet, or using some sort of consistent sound all night, but it's so much more than that. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So I want to break down a couple more things for you guys to go through to help your environment. So I love to start a transition, such as getting a bedtime routine built by cleaning everything out. Go through the clothes, the toys, the books, any extras that have made their way into your little one's room. I know my daughter sneaks things in every single day. Why is this plant on your dresser? You doesn't go here.
Always new things showing up everywhere.
Changing their sheets regularly, making sure that everything is nice and clean and organized. We want to make sure it's not hectic for them, and this is such a nice time to do it as summer is wrapping up before the school year starts to get things kind of nice and neat. The second thing that I want to bring to light is limiting that screen usage as well, making sure the bedroom is screen free. We don't need any sort of screens in there at all. And this includes cell phones for those older children. Please have a docking station somewhere else to take the pressure off of them to actually fall asleep screen free. And then we want to make sure those screens are off an hour before bedtime. So they're not going to be involved in any part of the routine. We don't need some sort of app guide them into a peaceful sleep or anything like that. And then the third and final thing that I like to keep track of for environment is the temperature. all know cool is best, but what does that actually mean? So 68 to 72 degrees is what we're looking for to promote healthy sleep. And I want you guys to remember that it takes you 2 degrees drops. It takes your body how do I say this?
Your body temperature must drop 2 degrees
Your
to go
body
into sleep.
temperature, your body temperature must drop 2 whole degrees to actually fall asleep. So the cooler the room is, the easier it is on your body to do so, and the quicker you can fall asleep. And that's true for all of our children. I know here my child likes to sleep in 66. She likes it
Mhm.
nice and cold.
Yep, the cooler the better for sure. So the next thing is timing. So we're going to break that down a little bit, and why timing is important to a strong bedtime routine. All right, so to get into timing, we first need to understand how that circadian rhythm actually works and how to work with it for best sleep possible. So the circadian rhythm is our body's natural 24-hour cycle that regulates both sleep but also wakefulness. And it is influenced, and I will say highly influenced by light and darkness. That is actually what signals to our body when it's time to be awake and when it's time to go to sleep. So this ties very nicely into the environment conversation, darkness versus light. And there are three hormones that play a role with the circadian rhythm as well. And these are melatonin, adenosine, and cortisol. So we really ultimately want to be working with our children's hormones to get them on the right schedule to fall asleep within that 10 to 20 minutes of laying down in their sleep space. And really, to be honest, the younger your child is, the less awake time they have, right, that we can work with. So, our biggest tip is to follow awake windows for any child that is under a year of age. For toddlers, we really love to set in stone a schedule and then make sure that they don't get over or under tired, and that we are essentially hitting the amount of necessary sleep during the day that they need so that we can still protect nighttime sleep. So it's very important to understand that daytime sleep or lack thereof will have a huge impact on your nighttime sleep and how well consolidation can happen there. So we want to always keep an eye on that. And one of the ways in making sure we keeping an eye on it is actually making sure for older children that we pull a nap if necessary, right? So for maybe that 4-year-old that is no longer needing to nap, we are going to actually transition into what we call a quiet time, right? Which is still that ability to have some rest period during the day to help them wind down. And it really does help them to have a better night. And with those children as well, we're going to just make sure that they have a set in stone schedule for bedtime. So, really, we want to understand what is appropriate for your child based on their age. And then with that, and obviously also the introduction of light or darkness, we can really help get your child set on a schedule that makes sense for them.
Absolutely, yeah. Melatonin and cortisol we hear all the time, but the adenosine is a new one. So with that comes that witching hour, right? We've all had that a couple of times of pushing our kids too far, getting stuck in traffic, and then you see the witching hour happen. That's the worst. So just make sure that schedule is nice and tight as you can make it, depending on your kid's age range to avoid. Next, we're going to dive into water. The second one I love. So water can be used for stimulation, for bonding, and of course for hygiene. Just depending on your family, you might take a bath or a shower every couple days, every day. What works best for you, but we like to have some sort of water in every routine just to signal again to the melatonin, hey, sleep is coming, please make more. Little ones can fall asleep. So for those little babies, right, under 1, doing a family shower or a bath, an independent bath with your support outside of the water, or doing a warm wipe down applies. And then for those toddlers, again, stacking sibling routines if that's comfortable for your family, and doing a shower together, or again, wipe them down. I did have one client say it's a baptism, a dunk and run. Her 3 toddlers, which I loved. I was
That's
like,
funny.
yeah, it is a Dunkin'
Yeah,
Run.
it is.
But by no means do you need to have them calm and quiet and serene in the tub. If your child is a mover and a groover, let them burn that energy off and play with them. That's great. If your kiddo is in there for 3 to 5 minutes and they're saying, up, 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 I don't want to be in here anymore, great, we're done. Dunk and run, get them out. And by no means do you need to use soap or wash hair every night. Just be sensitive to your little one's skin. But water is super powerful because will tell your little ones, hey, make more melatonin, sleep is here, because our temperature will drop when we do leave the bathtub. Okay?
Yep. And that's a wonderful tip also for adults is take a hot shower or warm shower before you go to bed because really that drop in temperature that Paige has talked about a couple of times is necessary for you to drift off. So the best way to do that is to create some warmth on your skin. It's going to have to dissipate and then off to sleepy land you go. So it's a good one for little ones, but you too, mom or dad. Following our water would be body care, right? So once the water portion of the bedtime routine is done, we need to get dry, we need to get dressed for bed. And this is just where any additional body care can take place, right? So brushing of the teeth, going potty, doing hair, trimming nails, doing those lotions and those potions. We really love using magnesium lotion as part of this particular portion of the routine. Magnesium is another wonderful supplement that can just help with restlessness and helping you to ease into sleep as well. And we do suggest having all these items in the place that you're going to essentially be putting your PJs on for your child. We really want to try to limit the number of places we're hopping to. So if we're in the bathroom, we're doing our shower, we're doing our bath, if we can come out and do hygiene there or just go directly into their room, we just want to make sure that we're kind of limiting the number of places that we're jumping back and forth to. But yeah, get all those lotions and potions and get them ready in their jammies.
Absolutely. And then next up is that movement piece. So this is the one we get the most questions about because we've all heard people say, once they've gotten in the tub and they're in their jammies, keep it calm, just do a book. That doesn't work for every kid, especially if you have a FOMO kiddo or a high sensory seeking kiddo or anyone who just is dysregulated sometimes, which isn't. So the movement is going to give them that stimulation that they need so they can go to sleep comfortably. If your kiddo is moving a ton in bed, they feel like they're out of their bodies, right? They're not listening, they're running around, they cannot focus on anything, they need some movement. So a couple options could be as simple as just rocking your baby or swaying them in a blanket like a hammock with a partner. I love that. You can sing while you're doing this, so stacking it with that next reconnection item as well if you're running short on time works. I know my toddler loves it when she gets shaken up a little bit. We call it shake your sillies out. For those older kiddos, they can do yoga, they can do stretching, and again, this can be done with a parent or independently. Just do what works best for your kiddo, but always help them back and grounded and ready to lay down peacefully.
Absolutely. I would say this is probably movement is one of the most fun portions of our bedtime routine with my kiddos. And so it's just a really nice way to kind of end that day and get all those wiggles out, like you said. So once we've done our movement piece, then we're almost done with building our perfect bedtime routine. And so the next piece is my favorite part of my bedtime routine at home with my two kiddos, and that's reconnection time. So reconnection is so important to both me and obviously my children. And with them going to school, which they're doing for so much longer now. They're getting so big. You know, we have to be able to balance all the things that life throws our way. And taking time before them into bed is just really a special time for all of us to connect. So, some examples to reconnect with your kiddo could be just reading books to them together. It could be singing. We always do our prayers during this time as well. Sometimes you'll talk about, we do what is called like high, low, and buffalo. So, what was your high of your day? What was your low of your day? What was your buffalo? Which could be anything. My kids always like to do a silly one. But it's just a really nice time to connect and just let them talk about their day. If you do have an older child, right, maybe they could think about journaling or reading a longer book together. Pick ultimately what works best for you and your children and try it out. But this is just a really lovely way to kind of put that cherry on top of the bedtime routine. And again, really love it as part of our family. And if we ever try to skip out on this part, trust me, Riley will remind us. So
Let you know. It's
they
their
will let you
favorite
know.
part too. Yeah, it's so
Absolutely.
special. Lately, Maddie has been telling my pregnant belly stories for her little brother, and
I
she said,
love
"It's
it.
gonna be a long one, Mama. You should lay down." They
I
are
love it so
long.
cute.
It's wonderful. And feel free to cycle those out again as your kids age or interests change and things like that. But you can plug and play what works best for you. So finally, we've made it to the last step of this bedtime routine, and that is just simply tucking them in. This is the scariest part of your routine.
For many, it is, yes.
For all those little booger butts, right? Like they're not ready or they want to procrastinate, negotiate. Oh, I want data tonight. Why have you been in here, Mom? Or these jammies are itchy, right? They can come up with all kinds of things. Needing either a good solid boundary to remind them, hey, if you use the hatch, your light is red, it's time for bed. I love you. I'll see you when your light turns green. Or maybe even following through with a little bit of a firmer of a consequence depending on their age range. For those little babies, right? Giving another cuddle, maybe singing one more song, standing by the crib, stroking their back for 2 minutes, and then walking out can also do the trick. But having firm boundaries around that final step will create the consistency and the trust of what comes next, right? So if you respond differently every single night, they're going to keep pushing those boundaries to find that safety and security within your consistency. So the best thing you can do is do the same thing every night between partners, especially, and making sure that you follow through. You do have to lay a little bit of a consequence there, which they'll have to do it. Right? It'll get better each and every day. Find with our toddlers, so between 2 and 4, sometimes even with older kids, it's only 2 to 3 nights really of pushback, and then they feel safe and comfortable and they know what comes next and they're ready to fall asleep because of the bedtime routine that you've built with them. It just becomes pretty smooth. So consistency is key with those little ones.
Absolutely, it is. And so, if you've really loved just kind of the basics of the bedtime routine that we've talked about, but are just looking for a little bit more specific guidance on each of the parts, we do have our bedtime builder guide that I talked about, and it is available on our website. And just to be honest, it is filled with so many tips and tricks. It's going to give you specific routines for different age ranges, it's going to give you the schedules you need, and it's really going to help you to build the routine that works for your family. So go ahead and go to our website to check that out.
Absolutely. That's all for today's episode of Snooze Worthy. We hope that you found these tips really helpful and that they make your bedtime a breeze for you and all of your little ones.
Yep. And until then, sweet dreams and happy sleeping.